Welcome to Iowa Pagan News, your informative internet radio station catering to all pagans worldwide. We are dedicated to bringing you the very best in music, news, events, and lots of fun stuff. Come tune into our new podcast at www.plrdn.podbean.com. Now, here is your host, Lou Silverwolf Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Monday afternoon edition of Pagan Artist Spotlight on the Prairie Land Radio Network. And this afternoon, I'm joined by my special guest, Abigail McBride Spinner. And we're going to be spending the next half hour with her, getting to know her and what she is doing. And we've also got a video for you as well. So this is going to be a fun-filled 30 minutes. So welcome to the show, Abigail. Appreciate you taking time out.
Well, thanks very much. I'm really happy to be here and grateful for the opportunity to join you. I'd like to begin, if it's okay, by inviting everyone who's listening or watching right now to take 3 deep, slow breaths and to tune in to the present moment right here and right now and the gift that this moment really is. This is what it feels like to breathe and to be alive in the springtime of 2022. And as you breathe, bring your awareness to your feet and the good earth below you. Here in our hemisphere, it is springtime. The flowers are beginning to poke their heads up. My peach tree has beautiful pink blossoms. It's a time of new beginnings. And I invite us all to welcome this time of new beginnings with a deep breath and a sense of gratitude. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. And I've been kind of looking forward to this one because I've been wanting to have a chance to sit down and get to know you a little bit more and the projects that you've been working on. And you've got at least a good couple of big events that are coming up.
Yes, indeed. The next big event that we have coming up here is with our Vegas Vortex community. We are based in Las Vegas, and we have an event coming up the first weekend of May. It's called Mayfire, and it's going to be happening just outside of Beatty, Nevada this year at the Star Child Ranch. This event is focused around our Sacred Fire Circle, which is a drug and alcohol-free event where we make a sacred bonfire and we make music and play music and magic and ritual for 3 nights in a row, from about 11 p.m. until just after sunrise on the first 2 nights, and from dusk until midnight on the 3rd night. We have been doing Mayfire for 24 years, and we've had to take the past couple of years off because of COVID, and we're so excited to be able to join together in person again.
So tell us about the Vegas Vortex. How did it come about?
My husband, Jeff McBride, and I started the Vegas Vortex over 20 years ago. We wanted to have a community home base here in Las Vegas. At the time, we were traveling all over the world, and we decided that we really wanted to put our energy into our roots here in Las Vegas, where we live. And so we started creating a community that would hold 3 public events a year. Mayfire is in May. Fall Fest is in October, and Mysterium is in February. And we've been holding these 3 events every year up until COVID stopped the world, and we're very happy to be starting up again. Our theme is usually around alchemy and transformation, and I'm not just talking about the material alchemy of turning base metal into gold, but also working on the magical levels to consider what within ourselves is leaden and how can we turn that to gold.
Very cool. Now, what got you started on your spiritual path?
It's an excellent question. Thank you so much. I grew up in a very spiritual family. My parents raised me Jewish, and my mother was really deeply into Jewish mysticism and meditation and in Kabbalah. So from the time I was very young, if you had a headache, you wouldn't ask mom for medicine, you'd ask her to put her hands on your head. And she would sing in the angels and do prayers for healing, and your headache would be gone. So I grew up with sort of this esoteric Judaism, mysticism background. And then when I was very young, I was always called to nature. I knew if I were upset, the place that I needed to be was up in the crook of my favorite tree, way out on the back property. And back there was this little circle of stones that somebody made. And I would just go and sit in this little circle of stones and imagine that I was a stone sitting there too. And that would be a great way for me to calm down and to get quiet, to get grounded. I know. When I was in college, I took a part-time job working for my friend Alan Tauber in Boston at the Wizard's Workshop. And this was a beautiful little gift shop that had all kinds of occult jewelry and figurines and smudge fans and things. And I just thought the vibe in there was so cool. He hired me because I used to just come and hang out all the time. He said, look, you should just work here. And one day he noticed he had left something by the cash register about a gathering that was happening early that summer. And I asked him about it, and he said, oh, I don't think you'd really be interested in that sort of thing. But, if you are, you might check out this book. It's called The Spiral Dance. And I immediately found this book and gobbled it up. I said, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And I said, well, Al, I wasn't really interested in that book, but is there any other books that I might not be really interested in? I devoured them. And that first year, that was in 1988, I went to this gathering. It was called Rites of Spring. It's in Western Massachusetts. It's still going on every year. They've just passed their 43rd, I think, Rites of Spring. Okay. And at that first Rites of Spring, that was where I met Jeff McBride, who later became my husband. So it really was a love born in fire. And that's kind of where my journey really kicked into high gear.
Now, what tradition do you say that you follow?
I am an alchemist.
Okay.
So alchemy, as we define it, springs from the Western Hermetic tradition. We weave in elements of ceremonial magic, Wicca, and other earth-centered traditions. The nice thing about alchemy is, in our paradigm, we're looking at the sun as gold, and the planets, as they move out from the sun, the 7 visible planets, corresponding with the 7 chakras. So regardless of your spiritual or religious background or lack thereof, we can all agree that the sun will probably rise tomorrow morning. And that gives us a starting place of some common ground to grow from.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, so what is, I'm anxious to know about the Family of Fire. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, the Family of Fire is the name we've taken for the group of people who have been to the alchemical fire circles with us before, who have been through the crucible of staying up all night, drumming and dancing and singing, and have witnessed sunrise together in the group. And so it's a loose-knit family of fire that is worldwide. There are sparks from our fire that are burning in Germany and in Spain and in England and in Amsterdam, all over the world. And so what we have in common is the idea that, yes, the sun will rise in the morning, and that if we have spent all night in a group of like-minded friends, drumming and dancing and singing and playing and praying together without alcohol or drugs, that when the sun rises, each one of us is going to have a capital E experience if we've been engaged in the process all night long. Because it is impossible to be in a group of people who are singing together, which means they're breathing together with their co-created consciousness focusing on music and art and artful play and ritual. It is impossible to be engaged in that process and not have some kind of incredible experience when the sun rises.
Okay, so say for instance, you've got a newcomer. How would you describe a fire circle to that newcomer?
Mm-hmm. The fire circle is our sacred work and play, cleverly disguised as a party. So it's a place at our gatherings, people say, you're up all night. How do you sleep? And the truth is that we have times that we call the silence, which go from just after dinner at about 8 or 8:30 at night until 11. So you can get, 3.5 hours of sleep then. And then there's another period of silence from just after dawn until noon. So you can get another 3, 4, 5 hours then. And people will sometimes, take rests, take naps during the night if they need it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the opportunity to rest. But the idea is that at about 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night, you wake up from your nap and you come out of your tent or your trailer or your hotel room down to the fire circle. And you see this beautiful gate that is set up with banners and signs and streamers hanging from it. And there is a priest or priestess standing there with a bowl of incense or sage. And he or she or they give you a blessing as you walk through the gate and remind you that you are entering sacred space. And in that space, at the very beginning, people are just engaged in walking meditation, moving around the space where the fire will be lit. There are torches that are lit all around so that we can see each other. And after a period of time, we all come to a place of stillness and silence. And then there's some kind of opening ritual, which usually involves some kind of toning or making sound together. And then the fire is lit. And then the music begins. Many of our songs are easy enough that people can pick them up on the fly. And we make a big deal about that this isn't about sounding perfect or getting every single word right or having perfect pitch. This is about making sound. It's about making vibration. And yes, your voice is good enough. And it isn't about knowing the exact dance moves and being able to move just like he or she moves. It's about being able to move your body in whatever way is authentic for you. So we consciously create a safe and sacred space for people to take creative risks, to share music and songs and poetry and words from the heart or spontaneous rituals. And we engage in this deep sacred play until shortly after sunrise. And then there's a closing circle and people go and take a nap. So it's a really beautiful experience.
Sounds like fun.
Love it.
And myself, most of the movement I'd be doing would be sitting down. I have a feeling, but
that is totally allowed. We have a number of folding chairs that are set in different places around the circle so that when folks need to take a break or just need to be seated, they can. And that way, everyone can engage at whatever level is comfortable for their own bodies. We also encourage people to make what we call nests, which are just outside the circle, and people will bring their lawn chairs or, their little cushions to sit on. So that way they have a place where if they really just want to sit and rest and observe and witness, they can. So it really is accessible.
Excellent. We're going to be playing a video here just in a couple of minutes here that'll show people more about what you're doing with Fire Circle and the magic that surrounds it and everything. Now, one other question I had for you here. Now, you and your husband, Jeff, you also have Magic and Mystery School.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. McBride's Magic and Mystery School is here in Las Vegas. We have it here at our House of Mystery, and we have magicians come in from all over the world to study with us both live and online. We run a program called Mystery School Monday every Monday night. And tonight, if people are watching this live, if you go to McBrideMagic.tv at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we're running a very special episode on Magic for Ukraine, where a number of our students have gotten together and have created a website where all of our students are uploading magic performances that are then getting beamed to people in Ukraine who are displaced, who are looking for just a little distraction, just a little spark of magic in their lives. And so we're going to be speaking with some of the people who are instrumental in making that project happen tonight at 7 p.m. at McBrideMagic.tv. Now, the Magic and Mystery School has been called by the BBC the world's foremost institution for magic education. And if people are interested in the performance aspect of magic, they can go to magicalwisdom.com. That's our school site, and see all the offerings we have coming up, both live and online at the Magic and Mystery School.
Excellent. Now, let's see. Also, I'm going to put this. Wrong one. Okay, here we go. Now, this is for the Vegas Vortex event. So that is the main link that people can use for that one. Then also, now, here is the Universal Alchemy page for on Vegas Vortex.
Yes.
And there is a lot of information on that site. And
huge. It is a very deep dive.
yes, it is. And when I got to reading through it, and I started watching the video on the Mystery Magic School, and you had none other than Chris Angel on that video as well. Like, which is not surprising because he's being down there in Vegas, you're going to attract all the big names. So it's like, it's kind of cool to see that Chris Angel is a part of it.
Yeah, Chris has been a guest here to visit with our students in the past. Teller from Penn and Teller has been in to visit with the students. Lance Burton has been to visit. And David Copperfield was just our guest on Mystery School Monday a couple of weeks ago. So Jeff is very connected to all of the headliners, and many of them actually consult with him when they need help on their show. So the world of magic is a very close-knit, friendly world, and I'm really grateful to be part of it.
I have not seen much of anything of David Copperfield as of late.
Oh, yeah, he's jamming here in Vegas, doing 2 shows a day, every day, selling out. He's at the MGM Casino if people want to come see his show. Highly recommend it.
I remember the first live event I was watching on TV with him. And this was back when I was younger. And the cool thing about it was that I was standing there in front of the TV waiting for the actual interaction part. And he said, "Sir, you might want to go sit down for a minute." It's like,
I love it.
Like that kind of.
How did he know? How did he know?
Yeah, that kind of flipped me out. It's like, how the heck did he? Okay.
That's great.
It was really cool getting to watch him, and that's to this day it still kind of blows my mind that when he especially says, "Sir, you might want to sit down for a minute." It's like, okay. Nice. All right, now we're going to get to that video here real quick, and that way it'll tell everybody more about Sacred Fire Circle. This is a 3-minute documentary that I'm going to show everybody. Then right after that, we're going to take a very quick commercial break and be right back right after that.
Members of this tribe have taken the lessons of the drum circle and transformed them, drawing on ancient traditions, both Eastern and Western, from shamanism to Jungian psychology and alchemical symbolism. In gatherings large and small, they dance, drum, and chant, often from sunset to sunrise for 3 consecutive nights.
People have been gathering around fires since the beginning of time to make music and magic and tell stories together. You know, when you get a group of people together for an extended period of time doing a meditative group activity followed by the sunrise, people are going to have a profound experience regardless of their spiritual or religious background. It's like all of the underpinnings kind of fall away, and it's you and the light, and that's it.
When people enter a fire circle, they're entering an alchemist flask We set up a perimeter of torches that create a literal container, and the people coming into the fire circle are the elements. And then we take all of these elements that enter our bottle, enter our magical circle, and through the drumming and the music, we heat them gently. And over the days and the days that the dance continues, people sweat, they move through their blockages, and they just offer anything that's lead into the fire, and they get lighter and lighter, and can transform the lead of their life into the gold of music and rhythm and community, dancing and thriving and supporting each other. So it's literally an alchemist vessel, and we change our lead into gold. At the fire in the center represents the sun. And all the people, all of our community, all of the tribe is dancing a universal dance. The people that dance closest to the fire are dancing that fast mercurial orbit. The next ring out from that is the planet Venus, where people dance a little bit more slowly and a little bit more gracefully. Just out from the orbit of Venus is Earth, and you'll find people rattling there a little bit in trance, keeping the rhythm, maybe saying their prayers, dancing their dance. On the outside of the Earth orbit, where we have the line of iron torches, is the orbit of Mars. And this is where people support the energy, and they rattle and they sing the songs back, and they are witnessing and supporting the dancers that may be dancing for 3 days straight around this fire. Just beyond the orbit of Mars is Jupiter. And this is where it's more freestyle dancing. The planet Jupiter is mythically represented by Jolly Jove, balance. And beyond the ring of Jupiter is Saturn. Saturn, of course, alchemically is represented by the element lead, and this is where people sit and ground and meditate. So the orbits of the fire circle mirror the dance of the universe.
Man, that looks like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And it's also, it's deeper than just fun, because we think that the fire circle is the microcosm for our lives that are the macrocosm, right? So any hot button or trigger that you've got in the outside world, for instance, she's looking at me funny, I don't like her, I'm leaving. Right? But that button, for sure, at some point during the fire circle is going to get pressed. Hey, he's looking at me funny. I don't like him. I'm going to leave. And then we have an opportunity either to do what we always do, leaving, bye, or to engage with the tools of the fire circle, maybe to pick up a little rattle off the percussion altar and to take it around the circle and to use that as a tool. He's looking at me funny. I don't like that. He's looking at me funny. I don't like that. Looking at me funny. Like that. Looking at me funny like that. Yeah. Looking at me, looking at me, looking at me, looking at me, looking at me. Hey, I like this. And to find a way to use the tool to stay engaged in the process and to work with that energy. When was the first time somebody looked at me funny and I didn't like it? What was going on? What was that about? Why did I feel that way? How is this reflected in the rest of my life? To really use it as an opportunity for inquiry, right? Mm-hmm. If we're able to do that and stay engaged and get past that bumpy moment, and we make it all the way through until sunrise, something magical happens where suddenly that button that got unwired in the microcosm of the fire circle has much less heat behind it when we get out into the outer world. So next time I'm walking down the street and, hey, he's looking at me funny. It's like, looking at me funny, looking at me funny. I like that. Okay. And suddenly that issue that was so hot and so big before is gone or is really significantly changed. And that is the deep magic of the circle. For someone who is shy and doesn't like speaking in front of people, but recognizes that this is a safe place and they've memorized that poem that they love. So they're going to step into that ring of Mars, past those torches, and puff up and say what they have to say. Suddenly they find that, what, if I did it in the microcosm, I can do it in the macrocosm. And we really, over the years, we've seen people change and blossom and heal and open. I had a friend tell me years ago, she said, I did more work in 3 nights than I've done in 30 years of therapy. Because it can just be a party, it can just be fun, or it can be life transformative work. And we say the magic is as real as you make it. So whatever level you want to take it on, the medicine can be deep or it can be light. It's totally up to you.
Reminds me of the writing that I did back a few years ago, and basically it's called The Power of the Drum. And that writing has basically stayed with me for a long time, because I love drumming and I love attending drum circles, because there is something magical about a drum circle that if anybody has never been a part of it, the first time you go, you're going to be hooked.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things I love about what we do is that we incorporate some of the very best of really excellent drum circles, but we are not a drum circle. In our paradigm, the drums represent, and the music that the drummers make, that represents the South, right? That's the fire. East is the air, it's the voice, it's the songs. Water is the motion, it's the movement. And earth is the service that everything rests upon. So all 4 of these elements work together. That, sometimes when you go to a drum circle, people are totally into their own groove and their heads are down and they're kind of in their own thing and they're thrashing out. But you don't get a sense of real connectivity, right? In our circles, we really encourage heads up, eyes open, looking at each other, listening to each other. The musicians are making calls to each other. We have language for volume up, volume down, pace up, pace down, fade out, so that any one of the drummers can notice what's happening in the circle, hey, there's a singer over there trying to start a song. Hey, heads up, guys, level down. And the whole group will get quieter so that whoever this singer is can be heard. And then the music can be in support of the song. So it's this beautiful caduceus-like interweaving of music and voice and movement and service that really work together to really take the energy incredibly high.
Excellent. Very cool. Now, we've only just got very few minutes left here. I have a feeling that we're going to need to schedule a part 2 for this.
I'd be happy to.
Excellent. So, what words of wisdom would you give to a beginning practitioner?
I think I would give the words of wisdom to really listen to your heart and to follow where it leads and to trust your gut. So that if you are in a position where someone who is an elder or an authority is asking you or telling you to do something and you're feeling that clenching in your gut that's trust that. Trust that. I would advise a new person to read as much as you can, especially on the vegasvortex.com website, to ask questions and to not take anything as absolute truth until and unless it resonates for you specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Because part of, I think, what makes the pagan path so beautiful is that it is deeply individualistic for everyone who's on it. You know, Rumi, the great Sufi poet, said there are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. And I think that we as earth-loving pagans have thousands of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. So I would
Mm-hmm.
advise you to read, to listen, to trust your gut, and to follow your heart.
Very cool. Like I said, yeah, we're definitely going to have to schedule a part 2 of this.
I would be
So,
happy to. And you know, if your viewers or listeners have questions that they would like to send in to you for a part 2, I would be happy to answer any questions, whether it's about alchemy or the fire circles or our magic and mystery school or anything. And I really enjoyed being with you today, Earl. Thank you so much.
and I thank you for joining me. And this has been, it's always good for me to be able to learn something new. And this has definitely been something new for me to learn about. And I think one of these days I'm going to have to take me a trip down to Vegas.
I wholeheartedly welcome you to do so. Many blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you again in the not too distant future. Be well, friends.
All right, we're going to hear from our sponsors real quick, and then I want to say pleasant journeys, everyone. You've been listening to another version of Pagan Artist Spotlight on the Prairie Land Radio Network. And like I said, yes, we're definitely going to be scheduling part 2 for this. So stay tuned for more details. And we have a lot more coming up this week. So stay tuned. You'll see announcements coming out on the Facebook page and then also on my personal page as well. Have a great afternoon, everyone, and we're going to finish up for this afternoon and back more later on this week.
I just walked into this coffee shop. You'll never guess what I found. All the help is deeply engrossed in metaphysical times. You should, too. I'm at the Egyptian, 475 Park Avenue in Idaho Falls, Idaho. You get your very own coffee for free, and we're open till 10.
Sister Moon Apothecary and More is a collaboration of local island witches bringing you handcrafted tools for ritual, amazing apothecary, custom vinyl work, merchandise, and so much more. But we are not just an online store. We are a sisterhood, a platform, and a voice for everything that is magical. Join us for our famous Tarot Tuesdays from 11 to 4 Eastern Standard Time for a discounted reading with our amazing in-house intuitive reader and priestess, Wolf Spirit Energy, Beverly Oberlin. You can find us on Facebook at Sister Moon Store or on the web at sistermoon.shop. So fly on over and stop in for a spell.
Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast. All shows are recorded and available for download at plrdn.podbean.com. All rights are reserved and may not be replayed without written permission by IAPN Radio Management. Come join us at our new group, IAPN Radio on Facebook, where you can be kept up to date for future broadcasts. Pleasant journeys, everyone.